This episode is brought to you by Willard Roofing Renovations of Middle Tennessee. They are veteran owned and operated. They do residential roofing, siding, and gutters, plus they do leak detection and assessment and repairs on top of free estimates and inspections. Matt has been in the roofing industry for 14 years and is a HAG certified inspector and prior adjuster. Most of the roofs they do come from insurance claims from storm damage, but of course they'll do out-of-pocket quotes as well. He's also got 5 consultants that'll go all over Middle Tennessee and get you taken care of. So please go check them out. This episode is also brought to you by Volunteer Fleet Services. You have big trucks that move stuff all over the place? Check these guys out. They are located at 3939 Richard Reeves Drive, Suite I, here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 37127. They are internationally recognized to work on all fleet vehicles, and they have a mobile maintenance service on top of a local shop. They are also veteran owned and operated by my boy Greg Anderson. Check them out now. Thank you. You ready? You nervous?
Sort of. It was a new experience.
Never done a podcast?
Never done a podcast.
Dude.
Done interviews, but not a podcast.
Damn. So, I wonder what made you want to do it.
I don't know. You maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I do what I can.
Exactly. Until after you got the head tattoo,
Yeah.
Then I was like, yeah.
That was the indicator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to get the front. Like, I'm not getting my forehead, but I got that piece up top.
Mm-hmm.
Still behind my hairline, but I'm going to get some stuff done. Right
Oh, yeah.
just so it's like a little bit more, I don't know, the shaping was better. I'm weird about that. But I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to do that soon.
Oh, I'm the same way. It's like, and plus my head seems to be like, as I get older, it's like shifting this
It's
way.
like
and I'm like,
growing differently. Crooked.
Yeah, like why is this happening? So,
What's up with my fucking head?
I know, I got to get more tattoos now or something just to cover it up.
Head tattoos where it's at.
Absolutely.
I'll do everything but the face, man.
Absolutely. Same thing.
Yeah. Can't do that.
I got to keep it.
That's how you know people.
Absolutely.
That's like how it's like if you had face tattoos, it'd like distract me from like your eyes and your features.
Well, absolutely. Because I'd be like constantly staring and wondering.
Yeah. But someone's face is unique to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have 20 people with the same physique pretty much.
But
no one's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like their face isn't going to like be the same at all.
No.
Unless you got a twin. People might think we're twins. You think I wore a hat.
I know, I should have.
Damn it.
Like, which side am I supposed to be watching?
All right, let's do this.
Yes, sir.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bringing guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life to share their stories, their journeys, and everything in between along the way that led them to where they're at today. There's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of powerful stuff going on here with their conversations, and you can connect and relate to all of them in your own way. So if that is for you, subscribe, share, like, check this out. If that is not for you, you've got a problem, and you need to jump on board. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But without further ado, I would like to introduce somebody that's been a friend of mine since 2017.
Yeah.
And or was it late 2016? Anyways,
Somewhere in there.
late 2016, early
I know it's
2017.
COVID years. It's like.
No, it's
blur.
27 into
that-
2017.
Gotcha.
My man, Mr. Golden Czermak,
Woo. Yeah, pleasure to be here.
otherwise known as Furious Fotog, and we'll get into that.
Absolutely.
What is up, buddy?
Oh, nothing much. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain, dude.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You know, a little groggy, oddly, but I feel good.
Yeah.
Some days just be like that.
Absolutely. And it's midweek, so I can't really complain either way.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, I don't sleep much, so probably it.
Probably sleep too much here recently.
How much you
Probably.
sleep?
Hmm?
Like how long?
At least 8 hours. I try to get, but I've been failing at that regard. I've been doing like 9 a little bit. Maybe.
That's insane. That would like destroy my day.
I know you're just go all the
I
time.
couldn't even operate off of like 7 or more.
Really.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing my sweet spot's like 5.5.
Ooh.
So I usually do about 5.
There are days I get about that, and then I'm just a worthless POS after that.
Yeah, no, you get me at like 4.5 hours of sleep. I'm 10 times better than like 7 hours of sleep.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe on the weekend I'll get like 6.5, and I'll be like, ooh, that was nice.
That was nice lay in. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
That'd be fun.
I have to I just have to wind down, you know. In the evenings, like I'm go all day, and then I drive 2 minutes across the street, and then I go into like eating and dad mode. Like there's no stop. So by the time like the girls are to bed,
that's true.
It's like Lydia's in bed like 10, but then I that's when I can actually wind down. So it's like
you got your me time then, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's all good. But anyways, guys, enough about my sleep. This is about Golden. So, Golden, you know, I met Golden some time ago, and without going too much into detail yet, I had a photo shoot with Golden.
That you did?
Yeah. So, briefly, before we jump into the journey, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do now.
Primarily, I take photos. Joe is one of them. That's how we met. For romance book covers, actually. Started out doing mainly general portraits and weddings and things like that, but Bridezilla's just got the best of me, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I actually got into the fitness photography thing for a little bit, but then a buddy of mine hit me up for some billboard advertisement stuff, and from there I started shooting guys, generally fitness guys, that ended up leading to authors getting in touch with me to see if I sold book cover images, which I didn't have a clue was a thing, but you know, typical Fabio, you with the hair back then fit the bill perfectly.
Yeah.
But it was mainly a shocker. So I looked into things, I got some pricing set up, and that's when that side of the journey started.
Hell yeah, man. That's cool. Well, yeah, I mean, you're obviously a superstar at what you do. You know, I'd say, without stepping on your toes, you're one of the best out there.
Oh, well, I try to be.
I mean, you're known. You're known. You've sold a lot of covers. I mean, you got quite the reputation. You know, and I've been like, I told Golden, I was like, by the way, you're my photographer. Like, well, I appreciate that. I don't feel like I don't got the time to travel elsewhere.
Oh, that's true.
You know, it's just consistent, man. We got a good relationship, so
that we do.
I trust you, but. Yeah, so you crush it, man. I don't know how many covers I've been on with you.
Oh, gosh. God, it's up there for sure.
Like 60 or some shit?
Somewhere 50? In there. 50, 60, somewhere in that range. If I had my spreadsheet, I'm a nerd. I got my spreadsheets. I could tell you exactly, but it's up there.
Yeah, guys, so, you know, check out some book. I'm on some books, some romance novels if you need something spicy to read.
See Joe in a whole new light.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I don't even know what some of these things entail, but I can only imagine.
I don't either. I've sold some myself, and they're like, have you read the books? And I'm like, yeah, wink, wink. I have no idea what they're about.
So funny, man. But we'll dive into more of that.
Absolutely.
Now, Golden.
Yes, sir.
Take us back. Take us back into time.
All right.
To early Golden years, where you're from, you know, and a longer, you know, your childhood and things growing up and your influences.
Absolutely. I was born in South Korea, so I'm a naturalized citizen. My dad was in the Army. Okay. So I'm the proverbial Army brat.
Yeah.
Kind of lived a little bit of everywhere, but I'm thankful for that. Even though we moved a lot, and I didn't get friendships that lasted for very long because of that. I think opening me up to different cultures and things that back then helped me as well.
Yeah.
But we moved from Korea to Germany, and then from there back to the States and all around the States, mainly Arizona for the longest time before my dad retired, to come back to Alabama. But then he got fed up with that and ended up moving to England as a defense contractor. So that's where I ended up going for high school and all that stuff. So it's a little bit of wild mix. Every now and then my British accent will come out if I talk to friends. And it'll stick for a couple of days.
Just give you a couple drinks and you're just like talking about football. And
absolutely. I'm like the totally messed up accent all over the map. But because my dad was gone a lot, my relationship with my mother grew a lot more strong than with him. He was on TDY a lot, so he traveled for the Army and stuff like that a lot too. So I ended up forming a really close bond with her. She's no longer with me or us anymore. She died in 2012 due to cancer. It was
what kind of cancer?
Adenoid cystic carcinoma, so throat cancer. Basically, it was a really rare form of throat cancer. It came out of nowhere. She got better for a while, and so we thought things were going good. But then it took a turn for the worse. Kind of came back and went downhill from there. So
fucking cancer.
I know. Fuck it. It was some rough times. Grew closer to my dad during that whole process. But it's not quite the same. So I feel like a big piece of me is missing. But I think because of the timing and everything else that happened, I started my business that you mentioned before around the same time. So she was a really big driver, a push for that. So it kind of fueled me, and I wanted to make her proud, that kind of thing. So a lot of the early years were based on that.
How long was she on that journey?
3 years.
Last 3 years?
Yeah. I mean, it was only given initially 5-6 months, but so she lasted 3 years. But towards the end, it was brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, and that's got to be hard to see,
Oh, it is. It's like a totally different person emerging in front of you every day.
Yeah, it's I'm grateful that I haven't had to witness, someone really close to me, going out like that. But there's still a lot of years left in life, man. The older you get, the more people you see go. That's the
absolutely,
thing.
And you kind of get aware of it a lot more. You pay a lot more attention, and you change your own life accordingly, depending on things.
Yeah, especially if you have some type of habits or something.
Oh,
like
absolutely,
that. Yeah.
absolutely.
But, yeah, it's interesting to hear you growing up, man, because obviously she was South Korean.
Yes.
I can kind of see it
somewhere in there. I like stick out at family reunions. It's literally blonde hair, blue eyes, and then me.
Yeah, but you got a unique look because you don't look full South Korean, obviously.
No, I actually get mistaken a lot for like Latino, Spanish, things like that.
Oh, really?
Everything but Korean comes out. Filipino, all that. But it's like funny that I rarely get pegged for South Korean like right off the bat.
Yeah, you're just places and they start talking to you in Spanish. You're like,
I actually had that happen in town. They started giving me the Spanish Bibles at the fair, and I'm like, I can't read it. Sorry.
That's funny as shit.
Absolutely.
But moving over all over the place. I grew up in the South, but I moved a lot growing up, probably like 7 times. Born in Florida, grew up all over Georgia, lived in Texas, Georgia, North Carolina. And then I went in the military, but even then, the Southern, there's that Southern way of life, so that's all a pretty close connection there. But still moving around and meeting different people, not having friends that extremely long term.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really think about it, like this sucks. But it's really cool because it does like open your mind to and make you more comfortable with interacting with different people.
Oh, absolutely.
And just I don't know, I guess there's nothing wrong with being born and raised in the same town your whole life.
Right.
But to me, it's, not knocking anybody. Like I said, nothing wrong with it. I think there's value there, but.
I think so, but I think you're missing a big piece
as
well. Just I want to say perspective, but perspective seems like the most appropriate word.
Yeah, understanding people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because everybody, if you're in your circle, your whole entire existence, well, then that's all really.
Absolutely.
And everything else is like, holy shit, dude. I
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to go there.
Yeah, for real.
But, when you move around and you open your mind and you travel even, you gain that perspective and you learn to understand people on a broader level too, and it's pretty cool. So it's honestly getting to move around. I'm grateful for it. There's some bullying and stuff, but because I was a new kid.
Oh, I had that too.
It's like that didn't. I just learned from that. But yeah, dude, I'm grateful for that. So
me too. Yeah. Me too, for sure.
Totally different for you though. Like different countries. That's a whole different.
Oh yeah, different countries. It's super strange too because like England was one that's similar to here, so you don't have that much of a culture shock. Like South Korea, it's like, Seoul has millions and millions and millions of people like in that small space.
Yeah.
Literally the highways are, 8 lanes across and they're going, I think there's 30 lanes of traffic going at the same time. It's crazy. Then you hit the small country roads, the city roads that are like built for one car, maybe, but that you have, again, 2 lanes of traffic going down. So surreal. Absolutely insane. We were driving, was with my dad one time, we were driving down the highway. I looked over and it looked like a city that was like on the skyline, and it was actually just apartment complexes they were putting up. So I was like, wow, that's insane.
They got to slam more people in.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
just crazy to me.
Up and up and up. It's just crazy. It's just overwhelming to a degree.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've been to some big cities, overseas and whatnot, and you see that a lot.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand. Never understand just slamming everybody in one spot.
Oh, I couldn't live there. I really couldn't. Visiting is great, fine. It's like living is a whole other story.
I have to go to Nashville to eat. They got good food, but that's it. Living there, I couldn't do it, man.
Oh no.
It's just crazy, but that's really cool though. So you got to learn a lot and experience a lot of different things growing up.
That I did.
Are you and your dad still close?
We're fairly close. He still lives overseas. He's in South Korea now. He eventually remarried, and so him and his wife are over there living life.
She's South Korean?
She's South Korean.
He
well.
likes the South Korean.
He
Right?
does. Yeah, that's his gig right there. That's his gig. It's like he I don't know. He has this thing about not moving back. I think he's got some family issues because he's like determined not to move back to Alabama.
Oh, really?
When he and my mom were
there's
together.
like 49 other states.
I don't know. He's just an overseas guy. I think he just got used to the life. So he's over there doing his thing. I'm just hoping he clues me in as to all the property that he's bought and everything else, because I'm just, waiting on that time where they get to knock out a bunch of letters in the mail. I'm like, you owe so much money for all this stuff. And I'm like,
no,
stuff. I do not. No, not at all.
That's cool though, man. Well, that's cool. Y'all have you been out there to visit them or?
Once since mom passed, but it's an 18-hour flight. It's just I don't know.
It's a trip.
He comes back periodically though, because he's got the visas and stuff that he has to do. So he'll come back at least once a year to visit. So he'll stay with us and kind of room up in the guest room and stuff like that. Go visit family, take care of other business again.
Yeah.
All his other properties that he's got everywhere.
That's crazy, man.
Absolutely.
Is he? Are you an only child?
I am an only child, and the name actually is part of that. I'm the golden child. I hate to be stereotypical and all that stuff, but actually my parents had tried for the longest time, and she had 5 miscarriages. My mom did prior to me, so I was the one that stuck around, and so I ended up getting that as the name. So
I guess I'll take him.
I guess so. Damn it! Little did they know how much of a spoiled brat they were about to raise, but it was special. It was special.
Well, what were some other, growing up, what were some other influences in your life? Were you involved with sports or anything like that? Like, what kind of things were you into?
I was a really nerdy kid. I'm kind of like the guy that does a lot of the sci-fi fantasy stuff. So I found myself reading a lot, sequestering myself away a lot of times. But I had groups of friends that were similar interests. So we would hang out. I remember in Arizona, we would do this typical thing like you did in the 80s where you would just go off and mountain bike. All up in the wilderness, no worries about jaguars, mountain lions, all that stuff. But the parents were like, just come home before the street lights come on. And we were gone. Those were the days. I don't see a lot of people doing that nowadays. Obviously, you can't because the world's changed. But
it's crazy.
That was very liberating an experience for me. Obviously, finding myself along the way was another aspect. Had family who's been nice and kind with me relative to my lifestyle. I've been with
such as
being gay.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had a partner for we're going on 27 years now. It's actually
good dude.
Pretty straight. Yeah, Eric. He's really.
You said pretty straight.
He's a country boy for sure. I'll just put it that way. No, it's just that influenced me a lot growing up too. Just, again, being open to different cultures and things like that. You get best of both worlds, but you also get the worst of both worlds as well.
Yeah.
But I actually had a very, I think, perspective-wise, relative to communities and things like that, I think I had a very lucky upbringing. I was very accepted in high school. I was very accepted by my family, etc. So I think that helped mold me into to have a positive attitude and help me get that drive that I've kind of imparted into everything. If I didn't have that, I think I would be more inclined to be probably towards the depressed side of the spectrum as opposed to the persevering and push side of the spectrum.
And then that's all you're talking about, being connected like with being gay and stuff like that? Or, yeah. So was that early on you kind of...
I don't
know. Like, it's always an interesting thing I ask because, I'm like straight, traditional, which... but I also accept other people, man. Like,
absolutely,
we're different. Our experiences are different.
I think if you're not hurting anybody, do what you want to do. But no, I think I knew, quote unquote, when I was like when we moved from the States to England. I don't know if it was just the culture there or anything, but it just made me realize a little bit more about myself, and it just a little more liberating there, I guess, a little more open to society than here. Here you're kind of a little more reserved, but I don't know. I think just being able to talk to other people about things just helped a lot relative to that.
I talked about this a couple podcasts ago, but the power of just conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually got a client, that we're going to kind of talk about that whole subject and, just taking the time to get to know people.
Oh, absolutely. And That's it.
Yeah, because you get people that'll like look at you how you look and then be like, oh, he's gay too, and they'll just not even give you a chance. They'll hate you, and it's shitty. Because, I think you're a great individual. I love talking to you, man.
Absolutely, man.
And I think you're a good person, and your character is what matters. And, That's what I hold high. I don't care about your sexual preference. It's just
Oh,
a
absolutely.
person's character.
I've always viewed it as just a part of me. It's not the defining factor of me, and I know a lot of people.
It's not
do
your
view it that way.
identity.
Correct. But a lot of people do take it because they don't. I think because they don't have anything else. Again, I was lucky in my experience of having welcoming people, not having very many issues relative to that.
Yeah.
Growing up, and so it allowed me to kind of have that as part of my identity, but not the whole sum of.
Okay.
Which I think a lot of people do cling on that
It's
way.
part of who you are.
Absolutely.
Like, people identify, they have one thing in their life, whether it's their religion or their sexual preference or whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
And they make that who they are. And it's like, no, that's just a piece of you.
Yeah.
There's so much more to you.
Absolutely. I think there should be multiple layers just to be healthy, but healthy subjective too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. But some people won't even give a chance to like understand the
no.
layers of people.
Absolutely not. And the tattoos, I mean, you probably experienced it too. People will immediately judge you. I get so many stares, like in a restaurant or something else.
Yeah. I get looks, but I don't realize it. Like I almost like kind of don't even think in my mind, I don't even realize I have tattoos sometimes.
Me either,
It's like
until
I'm a
people
normal
point
guy.
it out. Yeah, until people point it out. I'm just like, oh, most of it's complimentary. But no, you get the stares sometimes, and other people notice rather than me. Because I pay attention to the world around me, but only for like, I don't want to be like threats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not really paying attention to somebody giving me the stink eye.
Yeah,
over
exactly.
At the corner of the restaurant, but other people notice, and they're always like pointing out. I'm
They're
like,
just standing there just like,
yeah, I had that happen the other day. I was like,
scumbag.
absolutely. It's like, I don't need to steal your purse or your money. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm fine.
He's probably a drug dealer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, exactly.
Like, thanks. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess.
Let me get in my Lambo outside here. I was like, oops, it's a Toyota.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man, that's funny. But and I do one more question related to that.
Absolutely.
Like the part of like coming out to your parents. Like, was that a difficult thing, or how were they?
No, I think okay. I'll preface this with coming out and them accepting me was not an issue.
Okay.
But I think mom was disappointed. But again, I think it's a cultural thing too. Being Asian, being Korean, she was disappointed when I got tattoos too. It was like got a story about that as well. But it wasn't like an outward thing like, oh, you're going to be thrown out of the house or anything like that. It was mainly just grandkids. And there was nothing stopping up any holes, for that to happen down the
Yeah,
road.
that's true.
But it wasn't kids was not a big driver for me.
Yeah.
And it still isn't. It's mainly, I'm still trying to push myself. And I don't feel I would do anybody else justice if I, had to spread that out. I feel like I need to be solid in who I am, as, my relationship with Eric, before we even contemplate doing anything like that. But, that was neither here nor there.
I mean, Lydia and I took, it was like 6 months for us, dude. 7 months. I mean, come on, just get it done.
Just get it.
Just kidding. Not everybody do that.
But it was funny. Going back to the tattoo thing, it's like when I first got them and we went to visit South Korea, we were out at the clothing store and we were trying different shirts on, and mom saw the new tattoos and she was freaking out because at the time it was just gangsters that had them. Now it's more accepted, but it was like, this is like early 2000s. So it was like, oh my gosh. So she's literally taking clothes off the rack, holding them up, trying to block everybody else's view as I'm trying on different clothes. Like, she's like,
cover up.
You're making them notice us more by doing this.
They're going to call us out. We're a target now.
We are. It's like, just chill.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, no. That was it.
It's funny in Southeast Asia because, like, I've been to Thailand and all that. People, covered in tattoos, they're like, "Oh, Thai mafia." And I'm like, "No, I'm a white dude from America. Like, I'm not in the Thai mafia." I mean, but I had several people ask me that because that's more, especially in those cultures, it's more common for, just here, just everybody's got at least a tattoo.
Yeah,
and then it's pretty common to see somebody sleeved up and whatnot.
Yeah.
But over there, it's not. And so,
no, not at all.
So they do assume you're a gangster.
Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, I am.
I know. I should just say that.
Give me some pad thai. Yeah. No, it was like 80 cents. Like,
no,
I'm not that big of a dick. But yeah, dude, it's pretty interesting, man. But it's cool that your parents are like that. And I think, just the last thing on this, you see this, I watch people and like with psychology and everything, you see people maybe come out to their parents, right? Well, then they're immediately shunned. They're blasted. They're going to hell and stuff like that. And then they have a terrible relationship with their parents.
Yeah.
A lot of times for the rest of their life.
Yes.
And, as a result of that, they make bad decisions because it's almost like, the way I look at it is there's statistically men in a single parent household, like without the father, end up being getting incarcerated more and stuff like that. So, you're a kid and your dad turns his back on you, what's the difference? Right. And on top of that, he's treating you like shit because of how you are. And then it's like, they're like, maybe you're like, get a chip on your shoulder and like, I'm going to crush it in life. Or you're just like, man, you just kind of spiral out of control because it's an insane influence. So
absolutely.
I think it's just a really positive thing that they were like that.
Yeah. I feel really blessed in that regard that I didn't have to experience. I had, you had the bullies at school, but I think every school has some element of that.
Yeah.
But I think it was more positive than the negative overall relative to that part of my life.
Hell yeah.
Which is great.
I mean, that's pretty interesting about you, your journey and your lifestyle and stuff like that, and coming out and just hearing about the support and all those different things. And like you said, it's not your identity. It's part of who you are.
Right.
But there's so many different layers to you. And now it's time we dive into some more of those.
Sweet.
So, getting to the next step, how old are you?
45.
45, damn. Hey, dude, it's a blessing,
True,
every year is. So 45, man. So you got a little bit of time on me. Where did you, I guess, were there any other significant influences or things that happened in that childhood time frame until like maybe, after high school?
I don't think so. I mean, that was a bulk of it. Just again, the whole relationship with mom growing from dad being away a lot.
Yeah.
But really the high school thing came about once he retired from the military. So we moved to England. And so after that, I came back to go to college over here. Came back to Alabama.
Did the culturally, with your mom being South Korean, your dad being American, or he was American, right? Yeah. Like, did it work? Did the dynamic go well within the household? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Pretty smooth.
It was really smooth. I think that was
very traditional. I imagine
it was, and but they were very loving and very together.
Yeah,
and they showed their affection a lot, which is great.
That's cool.
And so I think it helped me realize, hey, good family.
Yeah.
The other family members, we go back for reunions and stuff. You're like, you can't say the same about the rest of the family dynamic. But hey, it's with the larger family. Dad's side was humongous compared to mom. So,
well, like I always say too, man, your family's chosen. You choose who your family is.
Absolutely.
A lot of people say you can't choose family, and I'm like, well, yeah, you can. You've seen the bond with me and my brothers and stuff like that. That's my family. They're family.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So you focus on who you want to, and it doesn't take away from like the great family members I have and my parents and stuff. Like, y'all are all the shit. Anyways, I didn't want to get that misconstrued. So after high school time, I imagine you, like, where did you end up at? Coming, I don't know if you went to college or coming into your college years. Like, where did you?
Yeah, I came back to the States, went to college at University of Alabama in Huntsville. Went for a chemical engineering degree. This was immediately after high school, so it was like turned 18, slapped back over here in the U.S. There was an option to go to university over in the U.K., but since had the veterans dependent thing, I could go in state for tuition was paid for. I just had to pay for books, and so it's like a lot. I mean, it's no brainer there.
Yeah.
So rather come back and do that. So ended up back here. And like I said, went to college, got my chemical engineering degree. Met Eric in around like the second year I was in school.
Dang, so you got a chemical engineering?
Yes, sir.
You do have that nerdy side.
I do.
Numbers and chemicals.
Which is so weird that I shoot photos of dudes for romance covers. But yeah, it's that was like not on the career.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that. That's a crazy transition, right?
It is. Yeah, so ended up and actually doing co-op work at a defense contractor in town. So Huntsville has a large research park there, so it's got a lot of different companies represented there. So I ended up working for Northrop Grumman. Don't know if I can say that or not, but yeah, I ended up working for Northrop Grumman.
You're all right.
as a co-op student, and then ended up becoming their regional environmental health and safety manager.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And that was after school or during?
That was during like the last couple years, and then I ended up getting hired on there full time after that.
Hell yeah. And so what was that like? I mean,
That was the corporate life, I tell you. That's
Yeah.
about no, but I found valuable experience there. A lot of good people. I'm working in health and safety. You get to look after people and kind of push that whole aspect of things. They didn't like me talking about the money spent on that, but you kind of keeping
Yeah.
kind of people safe is expensive too. But no, I think I learned a lot about interacting with people, public speaking. I had to do training classes a lot of times.
Yeah.
In front of large groups of people. We'd do all hands meetings and stuff. So that helped me get out of my shell. Like I said, I was an introverted kid. We did small groups, small friends like that. But so this got me out there in front of people.
For sure.
And and it helped me get a lot more comfortable talking to people like that.
That's awesome. You met Eric when?
About a year after I went to, when I was 19. So
Okay.
yeah, I ended up robbing the cradle.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, and we've been together ever since then. So it's just, he's kind of been a influencing factor in my life too. He's been really supportive of all the stuff that I've tried to do too, especially that transition from a well-paying corporate job to like freelancing on your own kind of entrepreneur stuff.
Dude, so tell us about that, because I mean that's quite the leap, because I'd imagine with chemical engineering there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Oh yeah,
Typically
definitely.
in any engineering field there is.
Absolutely. There's a lot of opportunity. There was in industries, and then since I was kind of siloed into the health and safety side, there's a lot of other companies I could transition to just because of that.
Yeah.
I ended up being a regional manager at Northrop because of that. But it was it's the type of work that you think. It's like hard work, stressful work. A lot of the stuff you sign is like legal documentation that says you can go to jail if you're like falsifying information, all this stuff.
Nice.
So it's like lots of pressure, all that
Yeah.
stuff, constant audits and things like that. But again, it helped me gain that experience relative to that.
Yeah.
But then actually it was my boss at the time that convinced me to kind of push towards something greater, quote unquote. Because Northrop and a lot of corporations have internal culture wars themselves, and so there's a big push for a lot of VP bonuses and things like that along the way. So a lot of metrics were geared towards that, to making sure they got their bonuses and everything else. So it didn't really become about the people; it became about the VP.
Yeah.
And so that whole culture shift is what kind of pushed me out of that arena into working for myself. And he knew I did photography on the side. I did that as kind of a life-saving measure to help my brain keep it kind of balanced from the nerdy engineering side with the artsy-fartsy
Yeah,
side.
had that creative side of
Absolutely. And so that helped me out a lot. He was really supportive in that, and he kind of helped me. And I didn't want to burn any bridges when I transitioned, so I ended up doing a 2-month notice, and I helped find my replacement, all that stuff, and train them up and everything else. So it was a good deal. But it was straight. It was very scary and stressful too, because again, you went from like your weekly, or actually it was bi-weekly pay, to like nothing.
Yeah. So when you made this, were you just like, I'm gonna go do photography full time? Was it just like that?
It was, and I will tell you why. I had an opportunity when I first came back from England. I had an opportunity back then. I'm a big Photoshop guy, so I do a lot of graphic design as well.
Yeah.
And so I ended up making actually this was for the VHS releases of Star Wars, the original trilogy,
Yeah.
on VHS tape. So I did some mock-ups at the time.
Okay.
And they were very convincing mock-ups. Force.net picked them up and everything else, and they were promoting them, and they thought they were real because they were that well done.
Hell yeah.
Toot my own horn. So I got a lot of credit for that, and I actually got job offers from California at the time to go and work for studios out there. But being while I am here, I was like, I just came back. I'm starting my chemical engineering degree. I don't want to upset my parents, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so I missed that opportunity. What I didn't want to happen with this is another missed opportunity where I'll be 80 years old going, I wonder if I had done blah, blah, blah. And it's always that's what gets you more. It's like the mystery of what ifs. And so I didn't want that to happen. So I immediately jumped on the opportunity to do this particular thing.
I talked about this a lot with my buddy Jeff, and like the deathbed full of regrets, right?
Yeah.
And getting to a point in your life where you're on your way out, and it's just like, man, what if I would have just done this or done that? And there's plenty of things I could look back on where I can imagine maybe I had plenty of options to go down different roads or paths, but like, I'm never going to ask myself what if or anything, because I'm still going all out, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's, it's sadly enough, most people get to a point in their life where they're asking themselves a lot of those things. And I stressed, on that podcast, and I was like, no, I'm going to get there, and I'm spending every bit of energy and passion I have in this life now.
Absolutely.
And so you decided to just say, screw it, and take that chance.
And that was a big change for me. And I do the same thing. Funny you mentioned that. I do the same thing with myself. It's like, Yes, I do weigh decisions, but I do go with my gut a lot more, and I go a lot quicker than I would have had that opportunity not presented itself before.
Exactly. Yeah, man. And, with me in the military, I mean, military is the military, but it's still corporate of how it's run in a lot of ways, right? So very business-like in a sense. And I wasn't made for that long term. It was a good time. And just like you learned so much and gained so much from that time there, I gained so much from my military time, and I'm extremely grateful for it. But props to people that do whole careers, because that wasn't for me. I knew that I wasn't going to ever be in a corporate space afterward. So I totally can connect with you there on that aspect.
Absolutely.
So yeah, getting into the photography side of things, how's that start?
Oh gosh, it was like I mentioned earlier. I had started with portraits and weddings, kind of at a local level. Just kind of getting my feel, trying to learn the business of doing that, and prior to us doing the session, I mentioned that I had some trouble with some local photographers. It was like a very siloed, like individualistic, very territorial is what I was trying to get at. And so I had a lot of like issues with like Facebook groups and other things like that, where people were just like trying to monopolize the industry for their little zone of the world. It's crazy. It's like again, having that broader perspective, I'm like, there's a lot more to do than just like, this particular region of Huntsville, Alabama. So I took it upon myself, and that really drove me again. I was like, that's why I adopted that keep rising motto, because I was like, I'm done with you guys at this level. I'm just going to push myself. So I started looking at fitness shows around the country, and I started getting clients at those to do more stock photography work. And social media was a little different at the time. It was more organic, and it was more viral. You could go viral a lot easier than you can now.
Yeah.
Everything is so algorithm based now, and so how much money are you going to spend on this? That determines what's seen. But I ended up leaving in August of 2012. I ended up going on this road trip to do my first fitness show. Ended up getting about 50,000 followers before I left.
Yeah.
And then on the way back from the shows, I posted images and stuff like that. I was refreshing, and I would get 100 new followers on each refresh.
Yeah.
And by the time I got home, I had 250,000 followers just for that one trip. And it was ridiculous.
250,000?
250,000. So long story short, I ended up amassing about 2.25 million followers total for my brand, which helped a lot in those early years. It was a lot more visible than it is now. Now it just feels like I'm shadow banned everywhere just because of what I post.
Yeah. But there.
But it's like
sore spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I can relate. But it's been great. And so we used to help authors a lot too, just be able to reach #1 on Amazon just by sharing teasers. That's how open and organic it was back in the day. I miss those days. I always say, I sound like I'm
back in
the day when you could, post something and it get viral.
We talked about that. One, the algorithms, two, paying to play. Instagram, all these pages are like that nowadays.
Yeah.
And like if you're building a business and you don't have the extra income to just like pay for all these ads, it adds up quick.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially in Google, like with YouTube and stuff, like
oh yeah,
you had to spend a minimum of $100, and it's like, fuck.
I know. And I've got a controversial take too. I think because I have along the way, I've had a lot of theft and a lot of IP theft where people have stolen my images and used them for like T-shirt ads and calendars and things like that. I didn't have much of a problem getting those taken down through like the IP reports and infringement reports and things like that. But I have a theory that, again, with money, that if the particular offending party is spending enough, Meta will look the other way, or the other sites will look the other way. Because I have a very hard time if they have a large ad spend or running a lot of ads for them to take the material down.
It all comes down to money.
It does, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I got super mad at that one time. I'm not going to mention the party that did it, but they had stolen a bunch of images for calendars, and that's why I don't do calendars anymore, because they pissed me off enough to where I was like, calendars. Yeah, I'm not doing them anymore.
Yeah, dude. I mean, shoot, they just took a photo from I had an iPhone photo up. It was actually that first photo when I had the vest on.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's what like got me into the modeling thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like at my old apartment, and yeah, dude, someone sent me, it was on like some meetabiker.com. Biker.com. Yeah. I'll sit there like, do you know you're on some dating website? I was like, no, it's kind of cool.
You made it. You know, you made
could sue them. I was like, I don't care. I mean, that's just like that's a lot of extra work.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah, I went down that road. It's a lot of extra work, and a lot of times I give up because this particular company was overseas. That adds just a whole other effect. Like you basically are screwed. Then you got to eat. Eat it.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I mean, that is kind of crazy, dude. But I find it interesting how there's some photography mafia down in Huntsville. You're like, take him out, like
it was crazy.
Throw
The
his
groups were
camera.
like that. Yeah, it was like, what the heck? So I was like, done with that. Done.
Yeah, but you said screw it. You found that's like with anything, any kind of adversity you're faced with or obstacle.
Absolutely.
That was an obstacle. You're like, I'm gonna rise above it. I'm gonna keep rising above it. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you can do. So you
Absolutely.
just like thought outside the box. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna do my own thing, and it's panned out.
Absolutely.
So, and back to the content creation too. We talked about that. It's very watered down. You got to pay, but then there's like the voiceover thing that's the same voice on every freaking video.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Then they introduce a new voice. It sounds very robotic, and there's no creativity to it.
No, you can't tell who you're listening to or even what you're watching if there's no branding on it because it's all the same.
Yeah.
Literally, there's no brand identity. And that's what I was big on at the start is having a brand identity and pushing for that. And you've done well with yours too. It's like you see your logo, you know where it is. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's missing if you use the same content, same voices, same everything else. Yes, it makes it easier, but it also loses. You dilute yourself.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
To the point of drowning because you can't get seen.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a point to where like the people that have stuck out and stayed true to like that, keeping that identity.
Yes,
they're going to be like, I think there might be a flip.
Yeah,
because I don't know. At least I hope so.
I'm open to otherwise, we're both boned.
Hey, fuck it. I'm going to stay true to me, and
that's all you can do.
I just can't take the easy route, man. I just don't see the value in that.
I'm incapable of doing it, I think, because I just can't. It's like physically impossible. I'll start, and then I'm like, nah.
Yeah, we got that switch in us. It's just like, no.
Just can't do it.
Like very hard-headed, but like I think that stubbornness is needed because if everybody folds to like ease and convenience, then,
what's
there's
the point? Really,
what's the
there
point?
isn't one.
Yeah, you're just kind of in the boat with everybody else, and then you kind of like lose yourself in that.
You do. There's a lot of reward to doing what we do the way we do it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those other content creators, while they might look like they're being successful and everything else, I think they lose a lot of that reward and drive from that reward, I think, along the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's plenty of sayings that go along with this, but now I was like, I don't even know if I can make this relatable. Anything harder, like things that are harder are just better for you in essence, right? There's always an easier way, like say you want to avoid squats.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some lifter, I forget who it was, Tom Platz, I think. And, because I always see articles about like avoiding squats. You can do this instead and get the same growth. And he was like, squats are hard. Anything harder is better for you. So do some fucking squats, but it's the same thing. Like apply yourself into your work because that's still better for you. Your mind grows. That having that creative outlet and putting the extra work into it. Yeah, you're not trending as much as maybe some people, but the fact that you're putting in that extra effort shows.
Mm-hmm.
And it does so much for you as an individual,
right?
Than just taking the easy route.
Oh,
it's almost
absolutely.
like selling your soul, man.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I feel like other people are doing. It's like,
don't sell your soul to AI.
No, don't get me started on that. Else we'll be here for another podcast.
I mean, you faced a lot of that, but maybe we will dive into that a little bit. But I do want to know. So the photography, you did fitness shows, that was going well. You grew a lot off of that, and then you switched to romance.
The romance novels, yeah. It got the fitness stuff got noticed because a lot of stock sites, they have a good selection of photos, but it's the same photos. So a lot of book covers will have the same dude on the same, over and over again, and they were looking for some variety. So I set up a way to license them exclusively. So we sell one picture each show, and then nobody else can have that particular picture, that particular pose or whatever. And so we sell it at a premium, and that's what we do. That's the business model, and it's done really well for itself.
Are you the first person to do that?
I don't want to say I was the first, but I was one of the first back in the day. I think I'm the only one that's still around from that era.
Oh, sweet.
So
you're like a trailblazer.
I try to be.
Or that. Because there's a lot of photographers out there nowadays. And
they are, yeah.
And there's great ones, but the fact that you kind of like in one of the first people to initiate the kind of making this an exclusive thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool because like it sucks. I'm sure if you're walking through Barnes & Noble and you see your book and there's one next to it with the same cover, it's like, damn it, man.
I know, right? It's that's where it kind of takes away. So that exclusive factor, I think, weighs in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, tell us about the, let's dive into the book covers and the photography for that and the world of that. And, how that's worked out for you. I mean,
Sure. Romance, gets some flack. It's like, mommy porn sort of, but it's a lot more than that. It's a $1 billion industry. It's actually the largest genre of books out there.
Really?
It is.
I didn't know that.
It is. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. It's literally a lot of women buy these books, and so it's really respected because a lot of women do run the industry as well. So it's great to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And it's great to be able to meet again. It's kind of like we were talking about traveling. It's like you're meeting what you do here, meeting a lot of new people, diverse people along the way that you can just talk to as you're doing shoots. You meet some assholes along the way, but you meet a lot of great ones.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's again helped me with myself, and again with the business to be able to mold and shape what I do based upon that. And but the romance books themselves, it's like, yeah, it's great. Book events around the country, you've experienced some yourself. Going to those, it's great to be able to meet the people buying the books, people who write the books, people who are on the books. It's kind of like, and I kind of built it upon myself because I went to those. It was kind of another eye opener for me. So I kind of bottled my brand. I don't just do photography. I do graphic design. So I do book cover design as well.
Yeah.
And I also do, I was model a little bit myself, but I also do a lot of the fitness stuff too. And so it's just kind of a one-stop shop for everybody to come to.
Yeah.
And trying to make it easy relative to that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're crushing it.
Trying at least.
And to add on to that too, man, I mean, it's been a good experience for me. I don't shoot often.
No.
Just a time thing, constraint. I got my life,
Absolutely.
And so I don't look at that as a career, but it's something I still continue to do and will for, I don't know, till when, but, there are a lot of stigmas or judgment that goes towards that world.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I tell people, oh, we got like a book signing event, and people giggle, and I get it. It's like sexy covers. In their mind, they're like, Joe's like in a porn book,
Absolutely,
and so they judge it, and they just like think maybe they imagine however like the fans are going to be or the authors. But you know what? I'll tell you what, man, some of the most genuine, supportive people I've ever
absolutely.
met. Like, especially, obviously after I had my accident and seeing the support after that, dude, it makes me want to tear up now thinking about it.
Oh my God. Trust me. Yeah.
That amount of love, bro, like from people that were essentially strangers that they just cared that much to see me get through that. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I mean, I didn't ask for this. And but just being a good person to people, like I don't know.
You got the payback, and you did. And that was nice to see.
Yeah,
it was great to see.
And I have so many people a part of that community, like buy all my apparel and like watch my stuff, and like it's just genuine people, man. And
they want to support.
Yeah, and like even Lydia, her first event, she said the same thing. She's like, I didn't know what to expect.
Oh, I know. You people have those stereotypical notions, those preconceived notions of what it's all about. It's not these photo shoots. It's not a casting couch, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. It's not one of those. People always ask. I always get that question. How do you maintain composure?
Yeah.
During all, and I'm like, listen. By the end of the day, it's freaking work.
Yeah.
It's like Joe doesn't just stand there and like pose. You got to think about it. You got to actually hold your flexing and all that stuff. But then you're wiped. You're literally wiped, and then you got to do the back end of everything too. So it's like, no, you don't even think about that. And again, like we talked about too, everybody's got a set of abs. Not everybody, but like one set of abs, it's like just like another. So it's like whatever. At the end of the day, I'm tired of looking at abs while I'm doing editing.
But you get really creative with it and do some pretty cool shit.
Oh yeah, that's
wolves and like flames and stuff. I'm like, damn, that's cool.
I know. We get Joe dressed up in, well, he does it in real life, but dressed up in Viking gear and all that other stuff. So it's like, damn, you got to get it done.
Yeah, man. It's really cool. And like I said, she went and she's like, man, they're such good people. And she loves tagging along with me to those events.
Absolutely.
And they all know like her, and, they all love my daughter and stuff like that.
Oh, I know.
It's
precious.
It's cool, man. And people that genuinely care. And I'm sure there's like some drama within. I don't really pay attention to that. I got the easy side, dude. I go take photos.
Oh, yeah. You got it made.
And then I just sign books and take pictures of people.
I think there's drama everywhere. I think no matter what industry or what group of people or what event you go, you're going to cut it up and there's going to be some kind of drama. Yeah. Everybody wants to relive their high school days for some reason. I do not.
Dude.
But even though it was good, I don't want to relive those days.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. I think, I don't know. I've seen some of the stuff with like models, but they all come from like the fitness industry, right? And the fitness industry, I love the fitness industry, but it's also like very dramatic and
it has its
chaotic
share of things too.
Yeah, and they kind of bring that mindset into that, and then, a lot of them just burn bridges like that,
Oh, instantly, like, It's crazy.
I just don't get it, man.
I don't either. And again, I guess it's easy for people to like flame off or mouth off like instantly like that too. But they don't. Again, with us, it's different. You've got to think bigger. You got to think, oh, I've got a brand to represent. If you're on a cover, oh, I've got somebody else's brand I'm representing too in a way. And so you've got to be kind of more cognizant of things in that regard.
Exactly, man. I mean,
it's not necessarily censoring yourself. It's just being more aware. Like, don't be a dickbag,
Yeah. No, it's like you can have your opinion and your convictions, but don't like immediately cast a shadow over like, this person, all these people, and then they're just like, okay, done, man.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
so yeah, man. I didn't realize it was such a like lucrative business.
Absolutely, I didn't either when I started. Again, I was like, I stereotyped it. Like, oh, mommy porn, Fabio, again, stuff like that. But no, it's a lot deeper than that. And it gets a lot similar to what we've been talking about here, a lot of deep stories there too.
Yeah.
Where people are overcoming stuff. A lot of authors have to use pen names to hide what they do from their day job because of, the stigma as well. So it's just got an added layer of things. And it's just, talking to people in there, it's like you learn a lot as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. And it's cool because coming from corporate world to now, like you're just be able to be yourself and get head tattoos. And
I know, right?
No one
That's
cares.
why I'm never going back. It's like the head tattoo sealed that deal.
I know, it's pretty cool doing something on your own and being able to like just create your own identity and not worry about someone over you talking shit.
Oh, absolutely.
And being able to be like, oh, if you don't like that, then screw off. I'm good.
I'm gonna talk to my boss about that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. No, wait. You just hold a mirror up.
Exactly.
All right. So we worked our way up to the photography. Where you're at now with that.
Mm-hmm.
How many covers have you sold?
I have sold, 3,300, give or take, somewhere in there. That's
a covers.
A lot of covers.
Damn.
Started with one, and then it's like, went from there.
When was the first one?
First one was in December of 2012. That's
December 2012?
Yep. That was actually a custom photo shoot. The author came down, had a model picked out. So I just kind of leaped in the deep end of the pool with that one, and we took a bunch of like teaser photos. Don't really do that anymore, just because again, to the time investment relative to everything else. But it was a great like learning experience. Learned the whole thing in like the first session.
Yeah, I think the teaser thing's probably good if you're trying to get your foot in the door and like get out there. Like when you want to get somewhere or something, you're gonna have to put in a lot of free work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was, I had priced things accordingly too, but then you always have like my model release, my licensing agreement has changed so much over the years because there's always somebody that will find a little loophole or a little chink in there. And it's like, no, we got to close that up. And so you got to revise the plan. Like people would take images and I didn't have like a thing that would let them not use it for like a second book cover or something like that. So it's like, so it's like another paragraph goes in there, another this and this and that. So this is like, oh.
Yeah, that sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so that's why it's like 5 pages long. I wanted it to just be one little summary sheet, but now it's 5 pages long.
Yeah, it sucks too because when you're like a person that wants things just to be like, want to be easy going about shit. Like, hey, listen, you can trust me, but let's just have a piece of paper there to like keep a good relationship. And,
Absolutely.
It's cut and dry, but then people just got to complicate shit.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it was nice and easy to relate to, easy to read. Now it's like, no, you got to read these addendums and sign the initial. Yeah, I don't think anybody's I put the initials at the top, but like nobody's reading that stuff.
Yeah, man, just like got your readers on, just like, oh God, I'm never going to get through this. So what kind of other opportunities, I guess, would that have opened up, like, now, so you're doing the events and all that stuff. Is that like that's it right now, or do you got any other stuff going on?
Oh no, that's it. I'm on cruise control right now. I'm trying to get things stabilized. We had the whole COVID years and recovering from that. Initially, from 2020, and then 2021 was a good year, but then with the AI introductions too, it kind of took a hit with the business relative to that initially, and so I'm trying to push mainly and kind of keep my brand in the forefront as being that, like we talked about, that well-curated, human-touched brand that people know they get good quality out of. Yeah. And so I'm taking a step back next year from the book signing, so I'm not doing any in 2025. I'm going to do some writing. I'm going to do mainly photo shoots, so I'm going to travel a little more, just try to build that brand back up, get more clients in, build up the stock base. Because
I'll get another one in. I'll do another shoot.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
In a while.
I know.
We got to switch it up.
Bring some blue jeans.
I bring blue jeans.
No, this guy does not like blue. He likes black jeans.
I got one pair of blue jeans.
He does. You were on that last shoot. I remember. I was shocked.
Who is this person?
Who is this? Wow. It's like, yeah, you look like a different person.
I got one pair of blue jeans for special occasions.
Hey.
Yeah.
Count myself lucky.
Got you, bro.
Absolutely.
And there was something I was going to ask about that too, but it's been a pretty crazy journey for you, but you've obviously had a lot of success there. And with the AI thing, you know, I just want to tell people a lot of shit's going this artificial way. And I know it may be cheaper or easier, but support other humans.
Absolutely. Woohoo. I agree.
Support living fucking people, man, because
Exactly.
you may have to pay out, but if you're good, like other people, if they take away, that's how you make a living. So if like everybody's using AI, then it's like, dude, you're like really kicking someone to the curb.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people who are using it don't see the end game either, that they're making themselves relatively useless also. So I mean, if if you're in a business, let's say a cover designer that uses AI now, well, if the client can then use AI to make their own covers, why are they even hiring you in the first place? It's like you're cutting your own nose off to spite your face.
Yeah, and then they can make using it to write books, and like then it's just all.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of this stuff. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I am all for technology. I'm half Asian, for God's sake. But I literally, this particular one was so disruptive when it came out in the world. A lot of times we embrace tech advances to make life easier. Like we said, the automation is great, things like that. But it happens like in one industry, one siloed industry at a time. Car manufacturing, for example, happened, and it was a good thing. It did displace some workers, etc. But this replaces a lot of different industries, a lot of different segments of the ladder, and all at the same time. And it's very, and I don't hear it talked a lot about. I hear it embraced a lot because again, it is cheap, it's easy, quick, fast.
Yeah.
Which is what people are focused on, but it's that whole other element. It's like, ooh, this is like a tsunami coming in, and you're all just looking at the pebbles, going, "Look how pretty this! Look how pretty the beach is."
Think bigger picture.
Absolutely, that's the message here. It's just look at the broader picture.
Yeah, and I get it, but I'm right there with you, man. And you know, it's just kind of crazy, and not going to get political by any means, but people all talking about like, you just look at the cost of things. Like, there's going to be a lower class and an upper class. This doesn't help that. This only speeds, to me, I think it speeds that up because there's a lot of middle class people that do a lot of these things.
Yeah.
That AI is like kind of jumping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
coming in with the fist.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. It's like, wake up. Please just wake up.
I don't want to live in a world where we're all just getting the same government paycheck and like dystopian shit. You talk about the sci-fi, like, screw that, man.
I mean, I see too many damn movies. It's like,
Dude, it's going to be like Ready Player One, bro.
I can see it. I can see it. People, I have a tinfoil hat these days. I pull out all the time. Oh, but it's like, when this first came out, I was like, people are going to use it for X, Y, Z. And sure as shit, it's like, they're using it for X, Y, Z now. And it's not even the fringe stuff that I wear in my tinfoil hat for. It's all the stuff you told me that was never going to happen. This happened like a year ago.
Oh, man. He's getting all Alex Jones on us right now.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, it's very eye-opening.
No, dude,
for sure.
That's something I think, down the road we can talk on a little bit more as things advance. And, we could do another episode where we dive into a lot of different topics.
Oh, absolutely. Right? We'll see where we all end up at that time.
Yeah. But one thing I do want to ask you, I find pretty interesting is your fitness journey.
Yeah.
You post pretty often like older pictures of you.
Yeah. Do a lot of
string bean, man.
Absolutely. Started out at 135, soaking wet. It's crazy.
135.
Oh, yeah.
What inspired you to start packing it on?
I wish I had started much earlier, but what really started, it was the whole meeting the new people, shooting at the fitness shows, everything else. It made it stick because I've always been the guy that always fell for the magazines, and it was always like, get shredded in 14 days.
Oh, God.
This is all you need to do is follow these 5 panels in this magazine, and it's like, it didn't happen. And so I got discouraged. I gave up. This happened since I was like 19, in my teens, and I never stuck with it.
Yeah.
Again, lifelong lessons, right? Looking back, it's like, dumbass, you should have just stuck with it. Be a lot bigger now than you were back then. But no, ever since shooting with guys and just learning what to really do and how long it actually took. Again, it's a journey. It doesn't just happen overnight. It kind of stuck. And so I started again probably 2012, give or take. It was like an era for me. 2012 was like the era. Mom died, opened up the business, started my fitness journey. It's like I just did everything. It was
Hell
like
yeah.
Floodgates were open at that point.
Yeah, man.
And so I just went from there. This year's a little different. I've been focusing on getting a little bigger. Getting the bulk on. Just did it all year. So no abs under this shirt.
Then if you want to grow, do not do any burpees like me.
No, I get tired watching your videos.
I love it. Now, I do and I don't. It's like this crazy relationship with them.
For real.
No, I think it's great, man. I've seen the picture of you, dude, and you've made a lot of progress.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It's cool because you're surrounded by people, doing shooting, surrounded by a lot of people in that industry, right? So I'm sure a lot of people are willing to offer you a lot of information. So you're getting it from people that have done the work.
Oh, absolutely.
Built crazy physiques, and you can ask them for advice.
Absolutely.
And you probably can differentiate whether now like it's some bullshit advice or it's legitimate because you've had so many conversations.
Absolutely. And again too, it's like some of it might not necessarily be bullshit. It just doesn't work for me. Well, that's the one thing I learned. It's like there is no like one stop like formulaic thing that you can follow. That everybody's body is different.
Yes. So
listen to your coach.
Avoid cookie cutter shit. But like everybody's different. Like I've talked about me and the way I eat, dude. I don't eat all day, and then have some rice cakes before I work out. Maybe something sweet or like some honey right after. And then I just eat like a pound of meat with Parmesan cheese in it, like good quality parm because it's high protein, low lactose. And I put some like sauce on there, maybe some sauerkraut, and then I have like 10 eggs, and that's like my dinner. That's all I eat every day.
Wow.
And then I like my sweets.
You do? I used to love sweets, and it's fallen off the radar for me. So it's been a blessing and a curse, though.
Sweets are my favorite thing.
Really?
Favorite thing.
Noted.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. Like anything baked, anything. Yeah.
All right.
Not a candy guy, but baked stuff. And I will say Reese's are good, but if I could eat sweets every day, like some days, like there's some weeks I've gone over to Publix because they got really good carrot cake. Yeah. And I'll buy 5 pieces of carrot cake and put them in my fridge. And like after my training, I'll eat a piece of carrot cake every time. Oh man,
see, that's good shit though. That's good.
Good timing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It matters. I'm sure there's science behind that, but somewhere.
Well, I mean, it's optimal the time taking that kind of stuff. So I at least try to time it correctly the best I can because I do have such a sweet tooth. It's like that song in the Wonka. Have you seen the new Wonka movie?
I have not.
Okay. Well, listen to the Sweet Tooth song.
You'll
hear it.
All right, I'll listen to it on my way back.
And it's literally what plays in my head when I'm going anywhere. But no, but it's been cool watching your journey, man. You've learned a lot, and I've seen you grow. And I'm like, dude, hell yeah, this guy's been getting it. So
absolutely.
Hey, be proud of yourself, man.
Oh yeah. It's funny though. One of the things I still see that 135-pound guy in the mirror though. It's like crazy. I'll wake up and I'll just like staring back at me, and I don't know if that it helps me some days. Some days it just really discourages me.
I think it's good to have that reminder, though. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think so, too. I think so. Ultimately, it does help me more than hurt me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's like we always do that. I think we do it in business, too, where, that whole comparison is a thief of joy thing. Mm-hmm. Where constantly I'll open up Instagram and it'll just throw a bunch of IFBB pros my way. I mean, look at how large these guys are and how tiny you are. But that'll do it. And then business-wise, too, you see a lot of successes out there, and you want to be that, and you just got to build towards it.
Yeah.
It's a journey for that as well.
I think the best way to look at it is, look at past Golden and not be that guy. Yeah. And then look at the IPV pros and just look at that as inspiration,
Oh, absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely.
That's what you got to do. A good way to bridge the gap right there.
That's a good way to do it because otherwise you're just going to be stuck.
Yeah, man.
Tires in the mud going...
Yeah, screw that, man. No, but fitness is an important thing, and like you said, dude, not one thing doesn't work for everybody. So,
no.
If you get into it,
I'm the testament to that. I tried literally everything.
Yeah,
a lot of it didn't work for me.
Yeah,
and some of it that didn't work for a lot of the people that were like, "Oh, you never want to do this." It's like that's what I do, and so it's really weird how that happens.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's totally different,
mechanically or gut, all of it, man. So you just got to be patient and find what works.
And you've got to find what works exactly. Yeah. See how your body responds.
Test shit out.
Absolutely.
So I love that, man, and you're going to just keep growing and crushing it, bro.
Absolutely, man. That's the plan.
Choking me, put me in a headlock, choking me out.
That's the goal. I see those videos of you, man. I don't know.
Yeah, true. I'm out there just keep fucking fighting that. It's been a little bit, but I need to do that.
I know you refresh on that.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, I got a buddy that lives here. He said they're bringing in like hockey fighting.
What?
So like how they fight in hockey?
Yeah.
In hockey, there's going to be like strictly that fighting on skates.
Wow.
And he was like, "Dude, you want to get involved?" And I'm like, "That sounds pretty cool." And he was like, "I'm all for it. You need that." And I was like, "Thanks, babe." So
that's like right up your alley.
Yeah, dude. So we'll see, guys.
Just see if it gets Joe's stamp of approval.
Yeah, I just got to learn how to skate, but.
Well, after that,
if I can just hold somebody, but yeah, man, it's been really cool hearing your journey, man, and
man.
just all the in betweens, and just your whole growth of moving all over the place and, you know, your lifestyle and the career changes, understanding what you want out of life and pursuing that all in, man. I think, you know, that says a lot about you. And, you know, because me and you connect with that. And you just dive headfirst into it. And you're like, I'm going to make this work. And believing in yourself enough to do so. Because I think that's just that one thing that separates, like, us from maybe a lot of people is that having that belief in yourself in order to get to there. Because a lot of people are like, I can't do that. Like, you know, there's all this other stuff. It's like, no, if you believe in yourself enough, you can accomplish all kinds of shit.
Oh, absolutely. And there are days where you do not want to do anything, but you gotta just push yourself and do it.
Yeah.
Just gotta get it done.
And get it done. And you know, keep igniting that passion in whatever way you can. You know, and kind of personal. But, you know, I know your mother's proud of you, man.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, she's probably just like, dude, my son's just making his life.
Absolutely, except I wish he didn't get those head tattoos.
But other than that,
she's like, rock on. Well, yeah, I fully believe that.
Hell yeah, man.
As well.
I do too. And I do got to ask you, so if you could say anything to her now, what would you say?
Thank you. That's what I'd say. Thank you for motivating me along the way.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. I love that, man. That's simple, but that's probably, that's all she needs. Dude, thanks for sharing that.
Not a problem, bro.
Hell yeah.
Not a problem.
Well, my last thing for you, Golden.
Sir.
In both, you know, and this is two answers to this.
Okay.
2-part question. In both business and in your personal life or for you, what is your relentless pursuit?
What is mine? Well, I think for both, I can probably answer that with both.
Okay.
With one thing. I believe fully in lifelong learning. No, living life where your glass is always empty and it's waiting to be filled. That way, I think you can learn new things every day. You talked about tutorials, things like that. Something to better yourself, enrich yourself, as opposed to just feeling like you are where you need to be. Granted, there are some days where where the pressure is great and you're like, God, I can't take any more.
Yeah.
But I think there's always room for you to learn more because ultimately it can help you along the way in making things either more efficient, better, whatnot. But ultimately, that's my relentless pursuit, making sure I learn something new every day, live a lifelong learning journey.
Hell yeah, man.
I
think there's an extreme amount of value in that. And, you know, the older you get, you're just going to have a lot of wisdom for the world, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
Bro. Well, Golden.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for gracing me with your presence here.
Oh, you are more than welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this. A long time coming.
Yeah, dude. Long time coming, man. But it's the time. This is when it needed to be.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for taking the time to drive up here from Alabama.
No problem.
And share your journey, man. And I'm glad to know you a little bit more.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure to tell you about it.
Hell yeah. It was an honor.
Yes, sir.
Till next time, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Good shit, dude.
Good shit. That was awesome.